and realized how relevant his words would be for the 21st century when he wrote that book, Your God is Too Small. He, like many of us, grew up with a very small idea of the universe in which we live. We can say that now, but when he was alive and expressing those thoughts, the universe that he lived with, in a real sense, was gigantic, but no more. The era of the naked eye astronomy for humans lasted for 2.5 million years. But the era of naked eye astronomy is over. 25 years of the Hubble Space Telescope has quite literally made a world of difference. A short time ago, as recently as the 1980s, our universe seemed to consist only of our solar system, a group of planets circling the sun with clock-like regularity. And our universe also was populated by many twinkling stars, providing a backdrop for our little world. And when we read the creation stories, we used to assume that all we could see with our unaided eyes was all there was. And even this was actually a leap forward for some of our forefathers of a few centuries ago, for their world was centered in the earth, around which everything else revolved. Heaven was above the sky, and below the earth was the underworld. Well, during the 20th century, yesterday, came more sophisticated telescopes mounted high on mountainsides or otherwise in remote places where they could be away from the glow of city lights. Those newer telescopes began to hint at a wonderful world, both within and beyond the Milky Way. Still, the Earth's atmosphere blocked most exploration beyond our solar system. In the short term of a quarter century, only 25 short years, this has all changed, totally. 25 years ago, when the Hubble telescope was launched, we began to receive an explosion of new information about the universe in which we live, and to make all the former paradigms obsolete. The countless photos of previously unknown celestial bodies sent back to us by Hubble are free of the distortions of the Earth's atmosphere. New galaxies and new stars are now visible from far away places. It has been our son Larry's career journey, which has given us a second row seat to the fantastic discoveries of Hubble. His professional life has reached all the way from the manufacture and testing of Hubble in California to Hubble's as yet last mission, which will happen at an unknown time when the first crucial piece of that fantastic satellite finally fails, probably sometime in the next 10 years. And that's been carefully calculated, actually, or predicted by some of the technicians involved. Well, it has long been thought that our sun was nearly 92 million miles from the Earth. Miles, that is. Well, modern astronomy has told us that's not exactly true. For the Earth is in an elliptical orbit around the sun, and that means that at times the distance is 91.4 million miles. And at other times it's 94.5 million miles. Well, millions of miles. That doesn't cut it for most of our imaginations, but there we are, and that was the framework of our knowledge of space a very short time ago. Finite miles, something we could get out and measure. So we drive down the road a mile, and then we multiply it by 92 million. Okay, that's where the sun is. But not so anymore. Now that's measured in light years. In modern astronomy, the distance is measured in by the speed of light. Light travels at about 186,000 miles per second. Now, I've seen another quote on that, but you get the idea. A lot of miles in like that. So that the distance from the sun to the Earth now, we won't speak of in terms of miles, but rather 8.3 light minutes takes that long for the sun light to reach us. With Hubble, it's been discovered that our solar system is 4.6 billion years in the making. How do they know that? Because Hubble has been able to look at the very beginnings of other stars and the solar systems of planets that swirl around them. Hubble has been looking at galaxies, at stars, and at planets that are over, are you ready for this? 13 billion light years away. 13 billion light years away. And if you can imagine, and I don't expect you can, I can. One single light year is roughly 6 trillion miles. That's a lot of distance. In a few short decades, modern astronomy has exploded our awareness of the size of our universe, far beyond our capability to fathom. Hubble has looked into space to very near the beginning of the universe, estimated to be 13.7 billion years ago. Astronomers can now actually see back in time as far as 13 billion years. The act of looking, the length of time it takes that light from those celestial bodies to reach us it's been traveling for 13.7 billion years. Well, 25 years ago, we did not know there were other planets out there, though some scientists suspected. But one of the first goals of Hubble was to find other planets. So, with the careful guidance of the scientists who program Hubble's work, they found not one, but countless other planets. Now we know there are actually thousands of galaxies, each with uncounted stars and planets. As our son Larry put it, now we know that our universe is littered with stars that have planetary systems like our own. Awesome. Well, among the photos that you have in hand, you may want to just take them and turn to the behind the Hubble telescope to that second page. Reveals an amazing situation. There was a time when earthbound telescopes looked at a particular place in the sky and there was nothing, black. Well, now in the days of Hubble, beyond the Earth's atmosphere and all of the interference that provides, able to see that kind of situation, quite a contrast in place of the blackness that was once seen there. So now it is known that that area of the sky, with all sorts of galaxies and nebula and stars, the Hubble telescope has sent back photos showing both the birth of the stars and the supernovas that often occur at the death of stars. And also in that packet, I believe on the third page, is a photo of a nebula called Mystic Mountain. I put that in there just because it's a gorgeous photo and unimaginable just a matter of a few decades ago. And that one is relatively near. It's only 5 billion light years away.
That's right.
And the colors there are somewhat of a measure of the heat that was generated in that nebula. And as aside to this, one of the very exciting things for a lot of scientists is the discovery of life-giving water on other planets. And we thought all the time we were so unique. No longer, if ever, can we say that God lives above the sky and the fires of hell burn endlessly below the earth. So what does all of this mean for religious truth and meaning? Well, Michael Regan, editor of The Hand of God, and I don't know where that book is around here. It's got a lot of glories. Oh, it's over on the credenza. You may want to take a look at it. Michael Regan, the editor of that book, has said, I have been thinking about this for a number of years since I saw the first Hubble telescope images. My overwhelming impression at that time was one of awe at the mystery of the universe, and a sense that I was witnessing the hand of God at work on a scale that was mind-boggling. These images are a catalyst leading us to ponder the idea of God. And he says, I have a great sense of relief, an almost surreal sense that it's all going to be okay. We are not alone, and there is a God. Well, the roots of all the world's religion are earth-based. How can our religious faith encompass the vastness of the world we now know to be? The sacred writings of Judaism or Christianity, of Hinduism, Buddhism, and others are earth-bound and time-bound. We talk of inspired leaders, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Confucius, Zarathustra, Buddha, Mohammed. But these are all earth people. Can we transform our spiritual life in a way that continues to draw strength from these earthly saints and sacred writings, yet find meaning in this greatly expanding universe? Can our God, or if you will, goddess, be expansive enough to embrace this amazing universe? What does this do to our understanding of the world in which we live, and the faiths which have given meaning to our lives? Whether we be Hindu, or Jew, or pagan, or Christian, or humanist, or atheist, or whatever. How does this cosmology shape our belief system and our faith? I, for one, am overwhelmed by these revelations. These new facts challenge the very foundations of my childhood faith, but they don't destroy it. Instead, they push to reshape my faith and my beliefs. And while there's an ever-expanding group of unanswered questions, I stand in awe of the author of all that is. The wonder that surrounds us speaks to me of goodness and positive intention and predictability. Sharon Begley has responded to the revelations of Hubble by saying, this cosmological discovery can be interpreted in a way that supports belief. This is the finding that if the laws of physics were tweaked ever so slightly, the world as we see it would not exist. With just tiny changes in the values of some of the numbers that go behind those laws of nature, no one would be around to marvel and wonder at any of this. She says the cosmos seems fine-tuned for existence in an almost too good to be true manner. To some, this fine-tuning of the laws that govern the universe is no less than proof of a designer. Our son reports that it is truly amazing that we can look back billions of years and see huge galaxies spiraling and gases forming into stars and planets. And he goes on to say, as you talk with astronomers, you find that many of them have a very deep faith in God. They acknowledge that the universe is too perfect to have been an accident. Well, being a resident of Planet X, wherever Planet X is, 8 billion light years away perhaps, that person, that being may not have sacred scriptures from which earthlings have found meaning, nor does that being have a Buddha or an Abraham or a Jesus or a Zarathustra to guide them. But I trust that that being is discovering the same vast universe that we are, and is guided by their own sacred writings and exemplary beings. Let such things be guided in faith as they will. God grant to each of us to understand our world in a way that gives meaning to our lives, our scriptures, and our saints are not to be replaced or forgotten, but they do need to be in dialogue with the space scientists who are always pushing back the frontiers of human understanding. Only then can our faith expand and adjust to include all that we now know and will soon discover about this amazing universe? What shape will our newly challenged faith take? I don't know. But I do know that in a real sense, we're in the right place to find out. For the openness of a UU faith is not frozen in creeds and doctrines, and it can draw from many sources and experiences. In our kind of church can come the birth of a new kind of faith, expansive enough for this new understanding of the cosmos. Sharon Pigley invites us to relax into a dream, and you may wish to go with her as you might close your eyes and go on this brief journey. Come, the stars invite. Lie supine at the top of a hill on a night when neither glow of the moon nor roof of clouds interferes with your view of the night sky. In a place where the lights of human habitation are too dim to wash out the view. Look up. There, where the Pleiades burn. Or there, where Orion stretches boldly over the southern sky. And everywhere, where the uncounted and uncountable hosts prick the black velvet. Look, stare. Maybe the different heavens will offer a sign, however small, that there is a world beyond the world we see, that there is meaning in the void, and a harmony between the mind of man and the limitless reaches of space. And with that, we return to our opening words. The majesty of the heavens and their regularity, the cycling of the seasons, the rhythm of day and night inspire a suspicion that we simply cannot be looking at some meaningless accident. How fitting then it is that in cosmology, the scientific study of the universe and the evolution of the universe, where the stage is set for a historic reconciliation of two rivals for our all, science and religion.